rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, seek the freak. And number 50, the general lead. Cowboys, no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Wynn and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones. Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, seek the freak. And number 50, the general lead. Cowboys, no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Wynn and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones.
Route, man. I want to know, man.
We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, seek the freak. And number 50, the general lead. Cowboys, no need to flex. There's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Wynn and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones.
What the first INT to the house gonna look like? What?
We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling. Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, seek the freak. And number 50, the general lead. Cowboys, no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Wynn and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones.
The 2019 Dallas Cowboys season is only a few months from kicking off, but this year, let's do things a little different. Instead of just watching games at home or just going to a game, let's actually experience our Dallas Cowboys, just like West Coast does. Cowboys Experience is my one-stop shop for all my Cowboys game day weekends. Their packages are all inclusive, including 2 nights hotel accommodation. We'll pick you up and drop you off at the airport and game. Want to hang out and get autographs from current and former Cowboy greats like Drew Pearson? If you're ready to experience the Dallas Cowboys like no other, make sure you inbox West Coast or go to cowboysexperience.com today. The 2019 Dallas Cowboys season is
Hey, what up, y'all? It's that time of the year again for our annual gala. On June 8th, we will be hosting our 2019 Diamonds and Pearls Gala down in Davie, Florida. You can purchase tickets or find out more information on 88blessings.org. On top of honoring our single moms, we will also be honoring Lori from Make Our School Safe. I hope to see you all there. Much love.
What's up with you guys? It is your boy West Coast, and we are live in the building. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat box, man. We are live in here busting in on your Tuesday. Fruit for this 4:30. Is it 4:30? 5:30. Well, you know how it be sometimes, man, when you're business owners. Sometimes you got to push it back a little bit. We'll shout out to everybody that jumped on, though. And, yo, man, we shout out to my Cowboy Cuzzo, Boss Cowboy, man. You already know if I'm in the building, you know I'm going to have some family up in here. So what's up with you, man?
Man, what's up, Boss Cowboy, where your voice matters?
You already know, man. You already know, man, where your voice matters, man. So, hey, and shout out to everybody. What's up, Phillies? Cowboys 76. You're 76 in the building. Terrell Burns over there on YouTube. He says, what's going on, West Coast? How about them Cowboys? What's up with you? And then what's up to everybody? We got some folks over here on Instagram, too. So shout out to everybody that's on Instagram, too. If you guys got questions, please throw your questions in there, and we're going to get this thing popping and get this thing going. Right? So just to kind of update you guys on things that did happen in the Cowboy world, today the Dallas Cowboys did return back to to training regimen. The OTAs 2019 season OTAs officially started today. Ezekiel Elliott was in the building. Zeke was in the building. Jason Witten was in the building. It's starting to feel like old times again.
Man, bro.
Starting to feel like old times. What you thinking, Boss Cowboy? Starting to feel like old times again.
Man, when you see them boys running around, you know that competition getting ready to get started. They installing right now. They're installing.
Yeah, man. I mean, shoot. Just the thought, man. Just the thought of just seeing my guys out there just running around and just being active, man. It just got all my juices and berries going, man. Like we almost there, man. I try not to count down the days because it's hard for me to do my time like that. I just let it flow. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I see OTAs, then I know they're gonna do OTAs for like a week and a half, and then they're gonna leave, and then they're gonna be on vacation for 6 weeks, and then next thing you know, they're gonna be getting on an airplane, and West Coast gonna be like, "What's up with you guys? It's your boy West Coast. I'm live from Dallas Cowboy training camp. What's up with you?" Boss Call. We almost made it, man.
We get to see the rookies work. I can't wait to see the rookies work, man.
Shoot, man, I can't wait to see them rookies work too, man. But I'm going to tell you guys right now at OTAs, there's not going to be, due to a situation that happened back in 2004, I think it was 2014, where Sean Lee on his very first practice against the rookie Zach Martin went up and blocked him, and Sean Lee, and I think it was tore his ACL if I'm not mistaken, right? And he tore his ACL. After that, the Dallas Cowboys have really curtailed their OTA program. So you're not going to really see any one-on-one combat out there. And to be honest with you, I mean, from my vets, I already kind of know what I'm going to get from those guys. I'm more interested in, like Boss Cowboy said, and finding out what the heck these rookies are going to do. But ever since then, the Cowboys have done a really good job of kind of reeling it back on the OTAs to kind of guarantee, to make sure that everybody makes it to Oxnard. But today, two things that we did see, Boss Cowboy. I saw Travis Frederick. From what it looked like, Travis Frederick was your starting center. And it also looked like Jason Witten was your starting tight end, man. So, like I said, man, it's starting to feel like old times again. The last time them two guys played together, it was really 2017. But, I mean, the last time they played, both of those guys played at their peak was around that 2016 time, man. Y'all remember how that offensive line was, man. So, I'm really, really, really encouraged. And I'm also kind of encouraged to find out what the heck Kellen Moore is going to do with with the tight end program. I mean, what are your thoughts on what Kellen Moore is going to do with these tight ends, man?
Because it's coming from Jason Garrett, I think it's going to be still a tight end system, at least to start off that way. When I listened to Kellen Moore actually speak about it, he talked about kind of engineering more his stuff as the season goes on. So they sound like they're going to wean him in to where he's going to probably be pigeonholed into Jason Garrett's system, which is more than likely still going to use a bunch of tight end sets. But as the season goes on, it sounds like he's going to get the autonomy. And I did watch Witten on that one play that was on the Cowboy page.
That good old sweep.
And man, my first impression, I'm not going to lie, man, Witten looked so turtles, man. So I was like, man, it just didn't look right. But that was my first glance at it. That was just my first glance.
Yeah, but you got to remember, that's coming from somebody that didn't want to win.
My eyes, man. I'm going to be honest with my eyes, bro. I was like, he looked like he was struggling to run, bro, like never before. So,
West Coast got that slap yourself face. Remember, this is coming from the guy who cussed me out. Remember, he cussed me out when Witten came back. So remember, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you know me, bro. I'm never gonna be a homer to the point where I'm gonna be delusional ever. You know what I mean? So my first impression, I'm just telling you my first impression, bro.
I believe it, but I'm just saying. Don't be hating on my tight end, man. Give my tight end. Give him.
Okay. I hope I'm wrong, but the boy look.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. Jason Witten cut his hair, so it's way more aerodynamic. That means he's gonna be faster this year. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all notice he's rocking the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Slightly bald, but it's really tapered on the side. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you do that, that's the old man. And guess what? He's gonna be faster. He's gonna be more elusive, and more importantly, we're not gonna. With the tight ends that we have right now, I'm saying that out of the thought of this, Jason Witten is not gonna be on the field so much, in my opinion, where those moments shouldn't be shared. Because in 2019, if you're going into a season and you're telling yourself that you have your tight end has to show out, your tight with Ezekiel Elliott, with Amari Cooper, with Dak Prescott, and if your tight end still has to be a factor in the season, then man, our offense is not going to be going in the right direction anyway. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wanted to talk about before we get into what do y'all want to talk about? Y'all want to talk about the daily news of kind of like what happened, what went on today? Y'all want to talk about that first? Or y'all want to talk about what are we gonna think we gonna do with more? What y'all want to talk about first? What y'all want to look at? Because I got some. I'm looking in the comments. Let's see what they want to talk about. All right, he says y'all seen Rock. Okay, I see it. Pollard. Okay, these positions will be fine. Witten looking. Okay. Kissy. Okay. What's up? Isaac saying what's up with you? Mary. Okay. What up, ball? Mercy says he looking stiff. Okay, I see it. All right, so.
Yeah, say that's what I saw, man. See, that's what I'm saying. He did look stiff. Like, look, I'm just being honest on what I saw.
I mean, shoot. I mean, if that's what you got, it's everybody first day. So
back to it, man, because I know we covered that, man. But I'm just see, Bossy said it.
Hey, but then look, you got Jamie that says Witten looks like he's moving better. Actually, looks a little faster. So,
okay. We mixed. Okay, cool.
We Belasian. Hey, you hear me? We Belasian.
What?
Say we Belasian. What did Tiger say? No, he said Belasian.
Oh, he said Belasian.
Belasian. We mix. Huh?
Cambodian and Asian.
Yeah.
Cambodian, black, and Asian. That's what he said.
Yeah, he said he Belasian. We mixed. Okay. So all right. So we got mixed opinions on it, but at the end of the day, my thing is this. I hope that my offense is not going to be. It should not be centered around my tight end anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping, can Jason Witten be elusive? Can he be fast? 1 or 2 plays a game. If that is possible, I think the Dallas Cowboys, our tight end, because like last year, we weren't even a team that was very tight end heavy anyway. So if you're telling me that we only use the tight end about I think it was like 7% of the time on offensive plays, then you're gonna have a guy who possibly. At some point is going to be in the Hall of Fame, going to be able to be in that position. So as long as Jason Witten can, to be honest with you, as long as our offense keeps us in a position where Jason Witten doesn't have to make y'all remember weeks, 2016, that catch he made? Y'all remember 2014, that catch he made against the Giants, that catch? As long as we don't, we can do better with scoring more points, then we don't have to have Jason Witten in these positions where he has to have these young moments. Because I think if we can just keep him in a position where he's just a tight end, I think we'll be fine. But if we get in positions where we have to have our tight end be super duper effective against some of these linebackers, man, it's gonna be. I ain't even gonna lie, bro. Even the linebackers that we don't consider good are running 4.5s. You know what I'm saying, Boss Cowboy? Even the ones that you don't consider really, really good, they running 4.5s and 4.6s. These linebackers are moving.
Yeah, so ideally, Witten, they said that they had an agreement that he would take about 25 snaps per game. And the real question is going to be, can Witten reel himself in? Can he reel himself in? Most competitors don't know when it's up. They don't know when it's over. Because in their eyes, they can still do it. We do it as older men. We'll get out there I can still play corner. The last time I went out there and tried to play corner, we always played around Thanksgiving. And I pulled my hamstring so bad.
Yeah, but you got to remember, man, Jason Witten, like, I don't think Jason Witten made this decision just jumping up off the couch. Like, I know, like, rich people who have, like, trainers and stuff, they stay in shape. Like, they stay in that regiment. And one thing about Jason Witten that I noticed about him is, have you noticed Jason Witten was out of football for a year, and you haven't heard nothing about Jason Witten not being in shape, not being physically prepared? My mom didn't see Jason Witten probably 3 times since he's announced that he's come back because he coaches again in this league against him. And so I be seeing, like, pictures of him, bro, and I'm going to be honest with you, Jason Witten, for sure, looks like he's physically ready. Like, outside of the fact that we know that he's older, you know what I'm saying? But he does physically look like he's ready to go. And Jason Witten's been slow since what? 93? He been slow since like 94. He always been slow. He ain't never been fast.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you don't have to worry about that he lose, is speed. So that's the good thing about being Witness. His game was never built on speed. My question is, though, will he be able to pull himself back? And I actually doubt he will, especially in competitive games. Like, Witness go in there like, I'm not getting out. Who you go check in over me? He go take it personal, as he always does, and he go talk himself back in the game.
Well, see, that's the thing about it. Then that's when I'm gonna need my offensive coordinator to have a pair of nuts. Why? Because guess what? If you don't do that, and Jason Witten's not gonna. I mean, Jason Garrett is. I mean, these dudes are really on 1-year deals. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, Jason Witten's on a 1-year deal. So when you don't on a 1-year deal, I don't think you can really come in and start swinging them around thinking that you're gonna tell. I think you got to have a little humility, and then also you got to think like this. Man, Kellen Moore, they're giving him the keys to the kingdom. So you think that he's gonna allow Jason Witten to come in between that? And you got to think like this. I think Jason Witten is gonna have a little bit more respect for Kellen Moore because Kellen Moore, they played together. Like, this is a guy that they actually were in the same huddle together. They were on a really bad team together in 2015. Jason Witten played all them games. You know what I'm saying? And Kellen Moore was the quarterback, and they were trash. You know what I'm saying? So, and at some point, Kellen Moore, think about this, Kellen Moore was supposed to be the 2016. That was supposed to be Kellen Moore playing, but he got hurt. He broke his, I think it was his ankle or something. So I think, when you have that, when you play with somebody, and you've been in the huddles and you've been through the fire with someone, I think he's going to have a little bit more respect. And then you got to remember, we are talking about Jason Witten, the Mr. Do It Cowboy way. So, I mean, I think I can lean on Jason Witten to make the right decisions. You know what I'm saying? Now, taking himself out of games, I mean, like I said, that's going to be on the offensive coordinator. That's going to be on the offensive coordinator. But my thing is this. My question is Kellen Moore going to have to set the tone that not necessarily I'm in charge or I'm the guy who's making the decisions. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to get tested. Like, that's going to get tested.
And Kellen Moore's going to fail. I'm going to tell you.
I don't want to say he's going to fail, but
let me tell you why. Because I watched a documentary on Witten. Okay, and it was right at the end. It was, in the documentary about Witten, to where he was having a talk with Jason Garrett, and Jason Garrett didn't want him to run a certain play because it was a blocking play that they was going to try to send a message to. I think it was a nose tackle that outweighed him, right? And they was going to send in somebody else to do it because he was like, I don't want to lose my prime weapon at tight end, right? Well, guess what? Witten got mad at Jason. He was basically telling them, Jason, you don't think I can do it?
Yeah, but that wasn't after Jason Witten failed in the, like, we all know that the reason why Jason Witten is coming back to football is because he failed in the booth. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that humility
and his competitiveness. And he said that he didn't talk to Jason. He didn't talk to him. I see my boy Charles on. What's up, Charles?
What up, Big Charles?
Yeah, so the consultant. But yeah, so he didn't. And so he said he didn't speak to Jason Garrett for 3 days, and Jason Garrett was talking about it like he was the one being coached by Witt, And then he said, well, so we went. So Jason Garrett went against his own judgment, which is I'm not going to have my receiving weapon go in here and make a key signature block because Witten was mad. So.
But that was before Jason Witten was on a. Remember,
that's why I said I hope he can rein himself in. It will be him reining himself in. So if he is still kind of that mind state, like don't tell me I can't, because that's how he is, and that's what makes him great. But at the same time, that mind state is going to override Kellen Moore because even.
But see, that's not. But see, that's an assumption though. That's an assumption though.
Bro.
But that's an assumption though.
It's a good assumption. Let me tell you why. He has it to this degree. Whenever a tight end is drafted, do you know what they say Jason Witten did? And
Yes.
Jones said this.
Yes, I remember what he said he was dead. I remember what he said.
Wasted a pick. Nobody can do that unless you're really, 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 really in with ownership. The fact that he can just open that door and tell people that made a business decision that you made a bad decision and they chuckle about it, that means that he has the political clout. So Kellen, and I'm just weighing this from politics. You're right, it's an assumption, but I'm just weighing it from what's the probability. And you got a new offensive coordinator versus somebody that basically has a mural built into him into the locker room. I think if he don't want to get out the game, he's not getting out the game.
Okay, now I say all that to say this, right? What tight end should he have been coming out the game for?
I can't remember.
There you go. There you go. You want to know what? No. Let me finish.
The reason why he knew that they was going to go do it was like a block to where you ear hole somebody. They was trying to ear hole and we don't want you doing that because so it wasn't a normal block to where
I agree with that, but like I said, what tight end was he? What tight end? That's because this is the thing. Like, I don't mind someone saying that someone sucks if they suck. Like, I don't mind someone saying like, yo, that was a waste of a pick if it really was a waste of a pick. Galvin Escobar was a waste of a pick. Like, he just finished playing for San Antonio Stampede out there in the AFL. This is our former second round pick. That tight end. If you go look at the history of the tight ends that we pick, since we've drafted Jason Witten, there has not been no history. I mean, what do you want to hang it on Martellus Bennett? Like, I mean, maybe, but I mean, we've seen a series of him shooting himself in the foot with other teams. So it's like I don't knock the competitive spirit of someone saying, yeah, that guy's like, bro, these guys are not going to be better than me. And guess what? Then you actually go there on the field and show that the guys are better than you. Like, I'm okay with that. That's just competitive nature. But this is what I also know about Jason Witten, right? And this is what I know about great men. Great men are totally different after failures. That's what I'm saying. Jason Witten, if Jason Witten was Jason Witten in the booth, if he was Tony Romo, because let's be real, they hired Jason Witten because they thought he was going to be Tony Romo in the booth. If Jason Witten was really Tony Romo in the booth, bro, he would not have came back. He would not have came back. You know what I'm saying? That's factual. He wouldn't have came back, right? Now, my thing is this. We are getting a different, maybe this is what Jason Witten needs. I mean, Jason Witten's a very humble guy, but guess what? Maybe God used that situation because, bro, I'm going to tell you, it's one thing to be great on a grandstand, but when you fail on a national stand, bro, that changes you. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to come back. Like, bro, like, I'm pretty sure Jason Witten's on Instagram now. He's on Instagram and Twitter. So I know he saw them crazy memes. Like, he didn't get no reception like, oh my God. Remember when Jon Snow, they was walking through the thing in Game Storm and they was just throwing all the stuff and they was just showering? He didn't get that type of reception. Man, he got that reception like goddamn Lannister girl when they was coming through there and they was throwing food and piss all on her. Like, man, Cowboy fans didn't necessarily welcome Jason Witten back. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not getting a hero's welcome. He's getting like almost like a, bro, you were hurt for a year, now you're back. You know what I'm saying? And that's my biggest thing and that's the biggest thing that I say when people have this whole thing about Jason Witten stumping the growth. Like, if someone had a legitimate name and they wanted to say, yeah, he stumped the growth of this person, but I look at our tight ends and I'm like, he ain't stumped no growth. Like they had a whole year last year, and what did they do without Jason Witten? Like, what did they do? What did they do? Like, you know what I'm saying? And most importantly, I think Jason Witten is a direct shot at our weakness, and you can never get mad at that. We have a problem on what? Converting on third down. We got better because of Amari Cooper, but it's like, I mean, that's not going to work for 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row. Like, it worked. It was Amari Cooper on third down was very damn effective. You know why? Because before then we didn't have Amari Cooper. So I mean, he was trying to throw the ball. North Carolina, the final play of the game, we throwing the ball to the Delonte Thompson. Now I have no problem. I love Delonte Thompson, but I'm just saying, your final play of the game, you're going 4th and 1. You're going to Delonte Thompson. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I think Jason Witten is a direct shot at what we did not do good. And you don't have to wait. You don't got to put it in the microwave. You don't got to hope that it's better because you know if Jason Witten's open, he's going to be open. And think about this, Boss Cowboy. You're hoping that your offensive line is going to be better this year, right? I'm hoping. I'm hoping our offensive line is going to be better. So if they're better, that means that should leave Jason Witten even more opportunity to be open. And if he can open, I have more faith that he's going to catch it versus all them other guys on our football field, man. But I'm going to need you to give Witten just a little hope, just to wait, please.
Nothing that Witten don't deserve. Nothing. So, like, I believe in Witten on short downs. I do. 3rd and 5, yes. 3rd and 6, yes. 2nd and 2, yes. 1st and 10, yes. 3rd and 10, man, if you don't get out the game right now, at 3rd and 13, man, if you don't get your, get out. But it's not going to happen. Well, and it could.
On possession downs, I wouldn't mind having him in.
It all depends on this. What kind of, will he rein himself back in? Because, like, Dirk, Dirk is a hero to Dallas. Dirk, in his career, has done more for the city of Dallas than Witten has done for the city of Dallas. We was a laughing stock in Dallas.
Yeah, but Dirk got a championship too, though.
That's what I'm saying. And so, like, Rick Carlisle literally said, I'm not having Dirk not start. But guess what Dirk did? Dirk said, I'm coming off the bench.
Yeah, that's what we like to hope. He said, like, come on.
Yeah, he reined himself in, and the same thing happened with Jerome Bettis. At one time, Jerome Bettis was the man at Pittsburgh, clearly, right? But then another back began to emerge, and he pulled himself back.
So who's emerging in the tight end? That's what I'm saying. Over the last 3 years, who has emerged? Because he's playing with the same tight ends that were on the team.
It depends on the situation. So, like, if it's 3rd and long right now, I'm going with John.
You're going with who?
For 3rd and long.
Oh, you're going with who?
John.
Man, are you serious? You know what? On 3rd and long, you know what I'm going with? I'm going with Kellen Moore to figure out a way to get somebody open. Because if you got to ask me on 3rd and
about Witten tight end, not just somebody. We was talking about out of those two people, who do I want on the field for that situation? I want
a guaranteed catcher. I want Witten. I'm sorry. If the game's on the line, I want Jason Witten. I'm sorry.
3rd and 13, I didn't say game on the line for the. I'm talking about the.
But Boss Cowboy, why can't Jason Witten just run a play that nets 14 yards? See, the problem is the play calling because they can easily just run. He can run a deep hook or a deep post. He can run the right option, tell him to break it at 14 yards. That's play calling. You're basically saying that Jason Witten can't run past 10 yards. I don't believe that. No, I believe that Kellen Moore should be creative and get him open.
Can't run past 10 yards. What I'm saying is, based on his average production and average per catch, which was around 8.9, he's under where he's the most effective. Versus if you look at Jarwin, he's more effective in that. So in that situation, I think he fit. Everywhere else, I think Witten fit better. I think Witten fit better on
3rd and 13. You're going to Amari Cooper.
3rd and short, but on 3rd and long, I want a better weapon out there. Somebody with a better chance of stretching the field, either him or Rico.
So put a wide receiver. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. On 3rd and 9, I don't even want a tight end on the field. Why is there a tight end even on the field on 3rd and 13?
Agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Especially because what they do within that situation is they split him out.
Yeah.
So that takes away his blocking advantage.
Exactly.
So like I said, why not put out there somebody that's a better receiving threat for 3rd and long?
Yeah.
So, because right now, because I was going to talk about that in the article, but we already kind of to it.
Yeah, let me shout some of these folks. Leah says I like Jarwin too. Hey, I like Jarwin too, but I'm just saying, man, I'm talking about sheer hands and catchability. I'm not paying someone $2 million so that they can sit on the bench. Like, if you're paying Jason Witten $2 million, he's going to be used in those situations. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, I don't blame it. Why? Because Jason Witten has a history of making big plays versus a history of not making big plays. Like, you told me a time in a big moment where Jason Witten didn't come through for you. This is my question. If the ball was there...
98% of the time like he used to be? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is my offense shouldn't even have a tight end on the field 90% of the time. That's the problem.
So when tight ends are in the game, do you want him in 98% of the tight end snaps?
When the tight ends are in?
Yeah.
If he's the best out of the four, absolutely. Like, I don't care if he's 40.
on your judgment, you thinking on all situations he should be?
Honestly, I do not. I believe that a tight end should not be on the field because on that much of your situation. Because bro, we need to score points. We need to get down the field. Why have a tight end when you have a wide receiver? I would rather you take a tight end all the way up the field and put Noah Brown there because he's a wide receiver technically. You know what I'm saying? Put him on the field. I don't want to even see tight ends on the field used like that. That's why me personally, I was like, bro, I don't want to draft a tight end. Why? Because I don't even want to use a tight end like that. Like, I want to use a tight end when it's necessary inside the red zone. And then guess what? On a 3rd and 7 with 40 seconds left on the clock, and I don't want to go for the touchdown right now. I just want to get the first down. Why? Because we can stop the clock. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I want a tight end. Other than that, man, I want my tight end on the bench, chilling. If there's ever a situation when I'm going 4 wide, I want 4 wide receivers. You want to know why? Because these are my number 1. Amari Cooper, who's Randall Cobb, who's my 3? Michael Gallup, Allen Hurns. Bro, Allen Hurns is a better matchup on a number 4 than any corner in the league. There's not no number 4 corner in the league. I will say this right now. There is not one number 4 corner on any team that can hang with Allen Hurns. There's not. That's where the matchup is. Not putting no damn. If you put a tight end on a number 4 corner, you basically make it even now. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's even. Like, we should not be using tight ends like that. We are not the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, that's not our game. Like, move the ball. You get what I'm saying, though? Like,
yeah. And that's what we go see. We go see how much scheming is based on love or is scheming based on matchups. Because I really believe is that a lot of schemes that we did back in the day was based on our love and our trust of Whitney.
Exactly. That's a good point.
And it wasn't just Whitney. It was also Slim. So when Whitney was here, he was averaging around 98% of snaps.
Because that was our offense. That means our tight. Who else does that? The New England Patriots. Go look how often look how often a tight end. That's how it surprised me. Did the New England Patriots take a tight end early? Did they take a? Can someone answer that question?
No, they didn't. No, they took a receiver.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, and I have a small feeling Gronk is gonna come back. And imagine, bro, Gronk comes back, and you got that kid from, oh my God, and you play on a weak division. Them dudes will lose 2 games next year. They're gonna lose the game to us, and they're gonna lose 1 more game. If Gronk comes back with the boy from Arizona, oh my God, this is probably the best weaponized team. This will be the best offensive team, and they just re-signed the other boy today. If Gronk comes back, that will be the best offensive weaponized team that Brady's probably had, because that's the first time they've even drafted I don't even know how that came out of that. That just came out of nowhere. But yeah, man, I can't wait to do the breakdown on that game because if Gronk comes back, oh my God, that's gonna be a monster team, bro. You got Amendola, you got the rookie that they just picked up in the first round, and Gronk, and they improved they fortified their offensive line, bro. If they
N'Keal Harry, he's like a dead.
He's nasty, bro.
He's the dead style receiver with a little bit of Michael Irvin because he creates that last minute separation at the point of attack where the ball comes down. He's really, really, really good at that. Like, he uses his hand. He's one of the best cheaters I've seen in college. Like, he cheats with his hands just like Michael Irvin. Just that last second push off. That's not too much. But it give you that extra half a yard to where he's automatic every time. So him and Brady, they might do damage, but I don't care about it.
Yeah, no, but that just came out of nowhere, though. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, man, like that wide receiver. You know what drafting that wide receiver. You know what that told me? That they gearing up for Tom Brady to play for a couple years. Like, Brady ain't retiring no time soon.
Yeah, so Brady got the new Carson Smith, huh?
Yeah, heck yeah.
So he got the new car.
And then think about this, Boss Cowboy. He only make $15 million a year. Why would you want him to quit? Why would you want Tom Brady to quit? I wouldn't. $15 million?
Yeah. Well,
ridiculous, right? That's called in journalism we call that a perfect storm. As long as you have that, you know what else is a perfect storm? The Golden State Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll just keep repeating it.
I did want to just do a cheap plug real quick, especially since we was on the topic of snaps.
Shoot.
Just real quick. So I have an article that's on my page. I want y'all to go to it. It's on my page as well as on my website. It's www.bosscowboy.com. It's the most recent article. And so what I actually dig into is how Kellen Moore can improve with less. And I just want to talk about it real quick. So, because we just are kind of talking about snap counts with Whitney and Swim, and they was on averaging around 98% of the snaps when they was in there. I want everybody right now to just take a real quick guess. What do you think Cooper was getting when he was playing between week 8 and week 17? Just take a guess. What do you think his snap count was? And while you're taking that guess, remember Cooper had 725 yards. He averaged 13.7 per catch, and he had 53 receptions. I'm gonna wait on just a couple responses. Y'all taking too long, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. 80%.
I believe it.
That boy was in 80% of snaps. Now think about this. Guess what your boy Hopkins was in?
He's probably like 94%, 95%, 90. He's high.
99%.
Yeah, he's going to be in the hires. Because I remember when he played against us. But I mean, that that also lets me know. Yeah, that lets me know that boy is in exceptional shape. That boy was that lets me know them dudes are in exceptional shape. Exceptional shape. Because that means the only person that played more than him was the center. I would think the only person that played more than him was the actual center. Because I don't even think the quarterback was at 99, right?
I don't even think it have anything to do with exceptional shape.
Yeah.
Because I put all the top receivers in the league from week 16. All of them was in the game over 90%.
I believe
Both of them was in the game over 95%. So what that was really saying to me, West Coast, is that your better offense is basically just leave your weapon on the field.
Yeah.
Leave your weapon. That's why I was saying Kellen Moore can get better with just doing less of them dumb packages.
Yep. And think about the obvious stuff that he said. Like, I think it went over a lot of people's head when he said, man, you can run the same play out of different formations. Duh.
Yes.
Duh.
Yes. So it's like when you look at our upside. Now, I just everybody take a pause and take a bite of what I just said. Cooper had 725 yards in 8 games with only 80% of snaps.
It was, why that was? Because we were still doing wide receiver. Well, bro, like keep it real, bro. Like we still do wide receiver by committee. Like we still did it.
That's the point.
Like we still did it.
Thought we went away from receiver by committee because we got him. We did.
Yeah, we did it. We didn't fully go away from it.
I was like, that son of a Linehan, you sneaky bastard. Like you literally kept doing what didn't work.
Yeah.
And it showed that his ego was more involved with 2018 than what was sound.
And you know what game it was more? You know what game that it was obvious to? The most obvious game that comes to mind without even snapping is Atlanta. You want to know why? Because I can think of how many catches and opportunities Julio had, and you would think that they would have, that was a game that should have been, when you have like this, it's just courtesies that you have. Like when you have a big time. When you have like when I play ball, like whenever there was like a big time rivalry, and say like we had a big time running back and this school had a big time running back, one thing for sure, if that dude had 25 carries, my guy gonna have 26. Like we ain't for sure not gonna underuse you. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, exactly.
So it's like, you get what I'm saying? So it's like at most you should have made sure, like if like say you can't, like, and that's just keeping the that's your, because sometimes in football you have to tell your guy and show your guy that, I believe my guy is better than your guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like what you do. So when you have games like Julio Jones versus Amari Cooper, when you have those big names, if Julio ain't leaving the field, bro, you ain't leaving the field. And that's the motivation you use.
And
that's how you get them big games where one guy goes off, another guy goes off. Odell Beckham, I know y'all don't like him, but Odell Beckham is really good at doing that. Like, he's really good at, like, personalizing a matchup and using that to have a big game. Like, that's one of the few things that young man is. He's really good at doing that. You know what I'm saying?
So, and so, like, I got the Atlanta snaps up. It's on my page, and it's on my website under www.bosscowboy.com. Under the Falcons game, it was a total of 51 snaps. Cooper was in only on 80% of the total snaps. Guess how many targets he got?
3.
5.
Well, yeah, he caught 3 balls.
He got 5 targets.
But you know what? You know, that was also after he also made it public that when he said that, you know, Amari Cooper said that, Dak, man, we don't run that hook again.
No, that happened the second Philly game.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, you know.
No, I think he might be. No, that happened the second.
Yeah, that happened the second Philly game.
Right, Philly was after that, but he didn't talk after that one. You're right, though. Atlanta came after Philly, but that wasn't the game to where he made his comment. He made his comment the second Philly game where he had.
When Rasul Douglas tipped when he broke in on Rasul Douglas.
Yeah, and he had 93 snaps. Now you talk about being in shape, right?
You gotta. That's what I'm saying. You gotta be a superior athlete to do that.
Now check this out. He had 93 snaps that game. That was the most snaps for the season, right? He was in 91% of the Zeke and Cooper ever had in franchise history.
Yeah, well, you know, Zeke. I always want to make sure Zeke is at like 80%, because if Zeke can be effective with 80, like, I don't want Zeke at 90. You know what I'm saying? I can only imagine what DeMarco Murray's snaps were at, you know, in 2014.
Totally.
Yeah.
But my outside weapon, I want him out there in the 90s.
Especially when you traded for him, bro. When you traded for him, bro, you should have been living on the field. Like, when you traded for him, you should have overused him.
You have to account for him, and that helps Zeke, that helps Dak, that helps the line, that helps everybody.
Okay, hold up real quick. I got a slap yourself moment. Daryl C. I'm not gonna say your last name, but I'm not gonna read your comment. But you got to slap yourself, bro. He says Amari Cooper isn't what everybody is making him out to be. That's why the Raiders got rid of him. I'm gonna be honest with you. The fact that Amari Cooper left the Raiders organization, got traded, and then had 2 career games after that with a quarterback who's not even known to throw the ball lets me know that Amari Cooper is all that. Like, Amari Cooper single-handedly saved our season. Like, we were 3-8. I mean 3-5. Oh my God, I wish I could pull up the stats. Every facet of our offense either doubled or took a 10% spike because of Amari Cooper.
What you talking about? It's on my website.
But you get what I'm saying, Boss Cowboy? We got better in every statistical category because of Amari Cooper. Even Zeke got better.
Dak's pass rating before Cooper was 87.4. When Cooper got on the team, it went up to 101.1.
Bro, that's 20. What is that? 21%?
Zeke's carrying rushing average was 4.7 yards per carry. With the addition of Amari Cooper, it went up to 6.3. So to say that,
how do you affect the run game, bro? How do you affect the run game?
It's not all that, especially his value to our team. With 2 of your best players on the team having major statistical improvements, I don't know what to tell you, my brother.
And think about this. Amari Cooper had such an effect on our team that he affected the run game. So you know what that means? That means that because Amari Cooper was out there, defensive coordinator said, "Yeah, we're not going to do the 8 in the box on this one." Why?
We can't do the 8 in the box.
We can't do the 8 in the box. Why? Because our number one quarter is not. He's not going to be able to stay in front of him.
He'll toast you with a
He'll toast you.
90 on you.
Exactly. So like, do you guys? That's mental. Like that's.
That changed the whole defense scheme on how they got attacked Dallas. Just with him on the field.
Just for him being. That's not even him getting the ball though.
That's just with him on the field. That's not even a target. That's just he's out there and you have to account for him.
Yeah, because the reason why teams get like it's crazy because Boss Cowboys. I ain't gonna say this is back in the time when we was beefing when we didn't really know. Game of Thrones. You know what I'm saying. Before you have the great allies, you got to go through war because you got to understand how your allies what they do in war. And it's crazy because when you war and beef with somebody, you be like, oh, I like that. You know what I'm saying? I like how you jab me. Bam. Okay, you got me. You know what? Instead of us hitting on each other, how about we team up and go do some bad boys and go hit on everybody else? You know what I'm saying? No domestic violence included. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, And I remember. We used to say that we used to say this exact same thing. Like, this is one of the points that we did agree on back in those days. And it's like this. How are you guys freaking ranting and raving all proud about how often teams put 8 in the box against us, but then you're going to take away or let a guy's number one wide receiver go in Dez and not replace that. So you know what that means? Instead of having 8 in the box, you're going to have 9 in the box now. Why? Because the corner, he don't care if he get the ball. Like, he not tripping off him. Like, Amari Cooper just sheerly being on the field, it made defensive coordinators totally look at the Dallas Cowboys differently. Totally different. And honestly, what I say is the Raiders just didn't know what that. Derek Carr is a bum. Like, I mean, he didn't know what he was doing. The homie said he cried in the locker room, too.
Yeah, so
that's all I'm saying. Like, the homie said it, and the homie played with him. If you know who I'm talking about, I ain't going to put his name up. That's what the homie said. The homie said he cried in the locker room.
And what's crazy is after Zeke, Dak, and Cooper had the best triplet game in franchise history. Dak threw for 400. Cooper had 200 in receiving yards, and Zeke went for over 100. Emmett didn't ever have a game like that with Irvin and Aikman. Staubach never had a game like that together.
Yeah.
And guess what Linehan did? Took his snap count right back down. The next week, 78. That was the week he spoke out, and his snap counts went down.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Like, yo, I'm telling you right now, like, let's just be real. Like, Amari Cooper is that dude. Like, for you to adapt to change that fast and then excel. Like, because Amari Cooper could have just came and just been average. He could have just been an average wide receiver. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. You tell me any time in the Dallas Cowboy history that we have traded for someone in the middle season, or you can even throw a free agent, and they have had that big of an effect on our team. It's never happened. Like that's why the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion, that's why they don't hold so much stock in bringing big name free agents, because for the most part, like, when have you seen a free agent really come into our team and just affect our team like that? And let alone you trade for a guy. Like, that is unheard of.
West Coast, I want to do something real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know now that Cooper was only in 80% of the snaps. I think I can make a safe assumption to say if he was like Hopkins, where he was in the game like in the 99 percentiles, that's an extra 20% gain on his production. So I'm going to do the math real quick. So 725 times 1.2, which is going to increase it by 20%. That's a projection. That means Cooper, if he would have just stayed in the game with a 20% increase because he would have been in 20% more, would have been projected to have 870 yards in 8 games. And we saying that's not all that.
Yeah.
800, okay, multiply that times 2. Let's just make this even easier to make it a full season. That's a projection of 1,700 yards.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Amari Cooper's gonna go off, man. I believe he's gonna go off. I think he's gonna go off.
He'll go off. And I think, and remember, Dak and him did that with no off season.
Yep.
So if they just say, if they say we're not gonna do what we did back in the day, and say we're gonna have Whitney in 98%, we're gonna have Cooper in 98%.
Yeah.
If they make that one change, and this is no slight against Whitney, it's just really which weapon is better for most situations. Cooper.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if you're
it's a philosophy based on your weapons. At first, Whitney was your best weapon because when he was younger, it was no answer for him. He could block, and then he would beat our linebackers because it was an automatic mismatch. But what happened over the years is linebackers they not bucky anymore. They're tweeners.
Yeah.
And they drafting them to be ex-safeties and athletic because Whitten abused them for years. Gronk was abusing them for years. So they said we need a linebacker where we can stand the base defense, but that's athletic enough to handle these tight ends. So it took away the advantage from Whitten, but there's no real advantage to somebody that's superior at the one.
Exactly. Now, quick question. I'm looking in the comment box. If you're an offensive coordinator and you're trying to scheme someone, if you have the choice between putting a wide receiver on a linebacker or a tight end on a linebacker, who would you rather have on a linebacker?
Receiver.
Okay, so that's what I mean by, because I'm looking through the comments and I know people are saying that, tight ends are mismatches against the linebacker. But I'm gonna be honest with you. If you have the choice to put a tight end on a linebacker or a wide receiver on a linebacker, you're gonna take a wide receiver every time.
Every time.
Why? Because a tight end is a mismatch. Then what is a wide receiver on a linebacker? That's 6. That's what that is.
Yeah,
that's 6.
In college, our coach used to call that athletes on stilts.
Yeah, like, bro, there's not a tight. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the only team that can even line up a linebacker and have them play in coverage deep zone like that is the Dallas Cowboys. Because I don't think Luke Kuechly, he might got it, but I don't think he got it like that. You know what I'm saying? The coverage-wise, Jalen Smith and LVE is the only ones I think can run with a wide receiver because I seen them do it in the game. Especially Jalen. Jalen was on a back pedal for 30 yards. I was like, oh my God. With the dude. And think about this. Like, if anybody out there that play football, imagine this. You're backpedaling, and a guy is pushing you up the field. He ain't even turned his hips yet. Like, he backpedaled 30 yards. Full speed. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. That's when I saw that, that's when I started yelling. Cowboys got the best linebacking core in the NFL, period.
Yeah.
Point blank and period. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, my offense needs to be predicated on mismatch. Like, I don't want anything really set in stone. What I really want is, go out there for your first series. Your first series is always going to be a little scripted because you want to understand what you want to do on this offense. Why? On this defense, because you've been watching film. You know what I'm saying? So your first series are going to be scripted on what you saw in the film. Now, as we play the game, I want to see some adaptation. Like, if this is not working to the left, let's slide. That's where you're going to see, like, really if Kellen Moore is a freaking good coach or not. It's not going to be, automatically, we scoring 40 points and now Kellen Moore's a good coach, because realistically, we were scoring 40 points 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? With basically the same players outside of Amari Cooper. You know what I'm saying? We were scoring 35, 30 points. So we have the ability to score points. The problem is we're not doing it. We're not doing it consistently. You know what I'm saying? Which, in my opinion, is going to tell me and this is actually leading into your article that I want you to talk about this next, is honestly, what's going to show me is Kellen Moore a freaking coach is when you have situations where you have to adapt. Can he adapt? You know what I'm saying? When we play an offense, because I'm going to tell you, the Saints, they dropped Dak 7 times. Now, I know it says 6.5, but I don't know how you sack someone a half a time. You know what I'm saying? They dropped us 7 times. And guess what? That was in Dallas. After we fired the offensive line coach and it was supposed to get better, we had a game where we gave up 7 sacks again. The only reason why people don't remember it, you know why? Is because we lost in Atlanta. But I promise you, if we won, y'all would have never had it. We wouldn't even be talking about Chaz Green or everything like that. So that's my thing like this. When we go back into New Orleans and we're playing in New Orleans, and Travis Fredericks is, fresh and looking good, smelling good, got a couple games under his belt. But now he got them all pros coming off his butt. You know what I'm saying?
And speaking of schemes,
does he adapt in?
My boy Charles made a good point. He said that basically you go get those mismatches against the linebacker in a slot. That's so true.
And you're setting those up. You want to set those up.
But sometimes the defense are actually set up in a way to where the Rams stayed in a base defense where they was basically saying, we dare y'all to throw it.
Yep.
So what we did, we counted them mostly with tight end sets instead of going 11 personnel where you have 1 tight end, 1 running back, and 3 receivers. That's the automatic mismatch right there, right?
Yep.
And the Rams was trying to bait us into a shootout, but we was basically saying we're going to stick with our running game because that's what we believe in versus taking the mismatch.
Yep.
And mismatch was pretty automatic. And see, the Rams was basically saying we go stay in here unless y'all make us pay. You know what I mean?
And we never took one.
For that package.
We only took 1 shot, so we didn't even take it.
And when we did, it worked because it was Cooper matched up on a safety. It wasn't the linebacker, but that matchup was there, you know. So yeah, it's real quick. I see some people I want to give a shout out to. My boy Michael Clark. I grew up with him.
What up, Michael Clark?
Yeah, that's one of my brothers. I see my boy Tavis Banks. Obviously, he been going back and forth on my page, you know, keeping some good information out there. I see also Ray Gonzalez and Parrish Carlock. You know, so yeah, I just want to give them a shout out. They've been having some real good input as we've been going back and forth.
And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't want y'all to, you know, it'd be weird people out there that just for whatever reason just choose to not understand what I be saying. But it's all good. But what I'm saying is this: the Dallas, yes, there are teams that use tight ends, and yes, there are tight ends that move like wide receivers. But what I'm saying is there one on our team? Yes, there is. His name is Rico Gathers. But what's the obvious? They don't use him.
They don't use him.
So I can't sit up here and equate and be like, oh, yeah, we can do this with Rico Gathers when my mind is saying, like, honestly, I don't know what the hell is up with Rico Gathers. Man, I think Rico Gathers got some blackmail on somebody. That's what I think.
I don't know what's going on.
That's what I think.
That mystery, I don't understand the mystery because he was actually winning the matchups that you wanted to see. Like when you put him in the Giants game, he was open. Dak made a throw off his back foot because of the pressure, but Rico was wide open. I still expect that throw. I'm sorry. I expect you to make that throw, even though it's hard off your back foot, but he's wide open. You know what I mean? He missed him, and he missed him twice. You know, and then they put him in the Jags in the first half.
He ate.
And Rico ate.
He ate.
And they just went away.
Hey, can I tell you?
They never again put him in the red zone. Again, for the rest of the season, Rico only came in to block. They took away him from a passing weapon when it was working.
Hey, can I say something? The two biggest variations from that game, I'm going to tell you that we never did again in any game that happened in that Jags game. I'm going to tell you two things that happened in that Jags game that never happened in any other game. And guess what? The Jags game was the only game we blew a team out. I'm going to tell you what those variations were. I'm going to tell you what they were. I'm going to tell you. The first one was this. The utilization of the tight end. That was the one game, that was the most targeted game by tight ends in that game. And then I'm going to tell you what the second major variation of that game was. Dak Prescott using his feet. He had 86 yards, I think, running in that game.
Yeah.
And we blew Jacksonville out. They did not have a chance with that offense. And you know what we did? And guess how many attempts? Guess how many attempts he had the very next game, bro? 2. He was like, I think it was 9 for 86. In the very next week, they let the boy run 2 times.
Yeah, they just, and like, man, Kerry from Houston, bro. When I come down in Houston, beers on me, my brother. Because Kerry knows his football. And I'm telling you, right, my boy Kerry, he don't talk a lot, but when he said it's true. My boy Kerry said Rico turned out to be one of the better tight end blockers after all that he can't block talk.
Yep, that's true.
Oh, fat.
And think about this, they always had him in a position where he was blocking. That's why I was like, there's no way if he can't block, he wouldn't be on special teams, because that's all you do on special teams.
Bro,
like, if he couldn't block, there would be nowhere for him on his team frame.
We first started doing, radio together during the season, and you brought this to my attention. You said Marcus at the time. You called me my real name. But you said, you notice they put Rico in to block? I said, bro, you right. I said, they subbing him in running packages.
Yeah.
If he can't block, why are you trusting him the most to block?
Yeah, that's true. And that's not even, but you know what it also did? It also sped up his maturation too. You know what I'm saying? Because, when you're only out there blocking, it's going to be very easy to do that on plays when you're set. I don't even honestly think that it was his biggest issue of how, blocking. I don't think that is, because Rico led the NCAA in rebounds. So that means he know how to box out, which is primarily what you're doing in boxing. You're using your feet and using your hand to keep somebody where they don't want to be at. You know what I'm saying? Now, you got to think like this. For the most part, they weren't even using Rico like on run plays and stuff. Most of that stuff was like block and release, where he's blocking one guy and then releasing to go get a pass. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was like more or less that combination of that more than him just not sheeringly know how to block. And then most importantly, the dude hadn't played football since 8th grade, and you knew that when you drafted him. Like, how you going to hold that against him? Oh, yeah, he can't block, man. He can't block. Well, he hadn't played football since 8th grade. 8th grade.
I never saw it even from preseason last year, man. Actually, Charles, who's on the show right now, he also was on the show before. I'll tell this story because it's true. The first time I met West Coast, I did a video about Rico blocking. And I compared it to Swam, and I compared it to Jones, because somebody asked me to in a group. They said, if you really believe what you say you see, and show it. So I was like, I'm going to show you. And I went out there and I pulled all the clips of them blocking. And I watched it. I was like, bro, it looked like Rico the second best blocker to me. I said, but before I put that out on public, I called my boy Charles. I said, come through. And because he's a lineman, and he played for 4 years, a 4-year starter at the University of Houston, and was coached by a lot of NFL coaches. I said, before I put this out here in the public, that wasn't my position. It was yours. Let's check out his blocking. So Charles came over and he broke him down analytically, and he agreed. He said, yeah, I would say Swam is your better blocker. He's the most sound and fundamental. But those rest of the guys are not blocking like Rico. Yes, he needs some work. Yes, he's raw, but you can work with it. So yeah, when I met West Coast, we were going back and forth on that, you know what I mean, on blocking, and the man can block. And so some of the rumors just on Rico just don't make no sense because it's almost like they made up. I'm going to just be frank about it. Like, a lot of it was made up. Like, they talked about that he wasn't focused on football because he was focused on rap. I actually went and pulled up the comment, the video. What he actually said, this is what he really said, not what we put out on him. Because what we were putting out on him is that he wasn't focused. But what he actually said was, I have demand on me in rap, and I'm not even playing football or basketball, meaning my buzz in rap is not coming from my game or professional game. It's coming from my ability. So he wasn't saying he wasn't serious about football. So it's like so much stuff has leaked out on him that's negative but false. Like he can't block, like he's only caring about rap. It's just, I don't get what was all the negativity about him, and when you research, you just don't check out.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys, my thing is this. I mean, despite saying all that, the Cowboys still paid him 3 years, made him 2 of those years he was the highest paid practice player in the NFL. So, I mean, you something you want to do. That's why I said, like, yo, if you don't want to do something with him, let him go. Let him go figure out, let him go do what he want to do. You know what I'm saying? But you can't continue to pay someone and then say, kicking them. It's like you pissing on your own tree. You planted the seed, you took out the experiment, now you're going to pull out and pee on it. Like, no. Put some water on it, let it grow, let it mature, at least let it find out what it's going to be. Like, we don't even know what he's going to be because he really ain't had no opportunities.
He ain't had no opportunities, man, period. And then when he started shining, y'all took him out.
Yeah, exactly. Let me jump into some of these comments. What's up with you, G Jizzle? I see you, man. Tony says, right high, almost like he was surprised he was getting targeted. I could see that at times. I think Des Bryant went through that same issue. Charles says he played for a good old boy network. Bob Seck says, cut Rico blank and move on. The experiment is over. I mean, I don't see why you have that aggression toward Rico because, I mean, when Rico, for the most part, if you go look at the times that he's thrown the ball to him and catch him, he has more highlights than he has down plays. And it's crazy because it's like, I could see if, like, when you make a statement like that, I think you're making the assumption like Rico can choose when he wants to go in the game. Like, you guys know that Rico can't choose when he wants to go in the game. You guys know that, right?
And that's a type of statement that you just kind of hearing everybody else say.
Yeah, but it's like you're frustrated, but you should be frustrated at the offensive coordinator. Like, Rico's still on the team. Like, he didn't do nothing.
Yeah, because everybody else failed up. Like, because Joe in that same game, the Jaguars game, had alligator arms. Y'all remember that? Where Dak threw a dime to him, and he went out there, and we call it alligator arms, where you catch it and you pull your arms back like that and drop the ball. But guess what? We was patient with him, and we kept working with him until he finally exploded. Rico didn't get that opportunity.
That Jags, they just...
The Rico experiment is over. That don't even make sense because it's like, why would you get a project and abandon it with 2 years of play? And
Thank you.
Like, why would you even do that? Like, if you got an experiment, like West Coast say, you water it. Like, it's the same thing with Byron Jones. If we had that thinking on Byron Jones, we would have been trying to get rid of him, and we wouldn't have got the season we got out of him last year.
But what did we do? We went and got a coach. What did we do?
We got a coach, and we watered him. So it's like, It's like that's why I don't repeat what other people say. I hear a lot of people say that around different media sources. The experiment is over. No, if any leader's supposed to try to do anything they can to get the most production out of the compensated people that's under them. You don't just abandon it because you think they're done. Damn, it's hope for them. It's like as long as they're on the field, it's hope.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you work with them. And I'm not gonna repeat that stuff just because everybody else saying it. I got my own mind, and my own mind say if we was patient with Byron Jones, and we was patient with some of these other players that took 4 years to really come into their own, why we not gonna be patient with a guy that was just on the field for just 1 year?
And then my thing is this: when you drafted him, everybody that you draft, you're supposed to have a plan, right?
Yeah.
We're not just out here randomly pointing people at and touching them and just saying, "Hey, come be a Cowboy," right? So what was the plan? Because he hasn't been injured.
Player. Yeah, what's the plan? Because what's going to happen is...
What was the plan?
We going to be the ones that's going to work on this foundation, and then somebody going to be like, oh, get rid of him and experiment over. Then somebody else going to pick up the foundation and build on it.
Exactly.
Like if we was patient with Heat, he took way longer than 4 years to come into his own. That's a fact.
Exactly.
It took about 7 years for Heat to become at least decent safety. Only like last year and the year before that, the second half of the season, did you start seeing real signals from Heat that he could potentially be consistent.
But my thing is this: outside of Rico doing rap music, like, what is it that makes you say that you don't want him on the team? Because the Cowboys have kept him on the team and the Cowboys chose not to play him? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, that makes absolutely sense. Like, he's still the same player that you drafted and invested in. Like, if anything, you should want to get management up out of here for making dumb decisions like that. But think about this. You're not mad at management for making a similar mistake when they did the same thing to Ryan Switzer. I mean, they did it with a 4th round pick. The only difference is... Yeah, but the only difference is they didn't wait 3 years to make the mistake. What I don't like is when my team says, okay, we was going to go in this direction, right? But you know what? We ain't gonna do that no more. Why wait 3 years to realize that mistake? Guess what? With Ryan Switzer, you know what? We drafted you. We probably shouldn't have drafted you. We don't know really what we want to do with you. And it take you 9 minutes. It take you 9 games to freaking field a punt. Yeah, we gonna let you go, bro. We gonna try to get another guy in here and see what we can do. They saw the mistake. They saw what was going on. They switched it out. Like, that's what I'm saying about Rico Gathers. If you are not going to play him, or if you don't know what you want to do with him, release him. Why? Because I have a little onus with Rico. Why? Because I've interviewed him a few times, and I'm like, yo, let the dude. Why are you just basically just holding someone hostage? Like, for what? Like, it's like when in fantasy football, when you just draft a quarterback just so somebody else won't get him. You know what I'm saying? I used to always do that. I draft like people don't like. I get like Ben Ryan. I get all these other random quarterbacks, and I just draft them. Why? Just because I know at some point you're gonna need a quarterback, and you ain't gonna be able to get him because I'm gonna have him. Like, that's what I'm like. That's what that's what it kind of feels like they did with Rico. But it's like, yo, he's made enough plays for you to at least want to know what he can do. Like, tell me a play. Tell me a situation where Rico has showed you that doesn't make you at least curious. And, bro, you have a guy in the NFL making pro plays? Come on, man. Come on.
I want to say one more thing, and this is not even just about Rico. This is for everybody that was potentially on the bubble on our offense. Is we also have to fully equate in there the poisonous, egotistical decisions that was made by Scott Linehan. It is no longer theory. It is now fact.
Yeah.
It's on my page. I want you to go to my page, go to the website. The last link I have is a quote by Jane Slater, and she said this: I've interviewed the players, and at first they was in about Scott Linehan, but after the front office went and researched and talked to players, the players felt that Scott Linehan didn't play you if he didn't like you. So when you know that, and you the boss now, that means everybody got to start over, not just Rico. Because if Rico was put under a bush over Scott Linehan's ego, he deserves a fair chance because he could be stifling talent. Just like we looking at the fact that Cooper was in 80%, And everybody mad right now at Cole Beasley going off on us. But I've been said, if you played for us and you was a receiver, you was probably aggravated.
Yeah, because your numbers got cut like a mug.
Your numbers was cut. You a baller like Cole, and they got you out there 60% of snaps. You like, man, and then you looking at other teams that got they number twos out there 90% of snaps. So when like some of the criticism we get from our players when they leave, stop, take a pause, and consider: is it true? And actually, it's true. Yes, at this point, Cole, I wish you shut up because it's over. But at the same time, it's true. So when it's known now, it's known. You can go to my page on my website, click on it. It's the last link, and James Slater is going to quote. This is exactly how the players felt. That players that was on this team didn't get a shot simply because Kyle Linehan didn't like.
I mean, think about this. He gave Dalton Schultz an opportunity before he gave Rico. So this is my thing. For anybody that's saying go throw Rico away, were you saying you would rather have Dalton Schultz in there?
No, you better not say that.
You better not.
Crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. People just be in their feelings just because. But you know what it is? You know what it is? Because some people don't like it that athletes have stuff outside of their life. And you know what's crazy? Rico, for the most part, has been able to manage his outside of his life. Let's just be real. Like, he's been able to manage that. His music has never been an issue with the Dallas Cowboys. Des Bryant got a guy on his page that rap every day. Like, I think that's what it be. Like, some people do not like the fact that these guys have outside ventures. Like, they don't like that.
I'm just not going with that narrative to give up on anybody on offense without getting a first look at them. Because what if that guy was held under a bush and a secret baller? You know, I want to see now. I want to see all of them because I don't know.
Yep.
Until you get out there with a new coach that doesn't manage with his ego. They say Kellen Moore is open. He doesn't have favorites. He want to win, and he wants the best ballers out there. I want to see our athletes under him now. We might see another Rico. Guess what? We might even see a better Schultz. I don't believe in Schultz, but we might see a better one, so I'm open for it. Yep. I think everybody right now should get a clean slate while we got that pause in this offensive coach out of here.
Yep, absolutely, man. And that's what I'm about, man. I'm about competition, man. Competition. That's what football is based on. That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it.
Competition.
Yeah. So hey, let me jump in these comment box. Danny says Larry Allen Jr. Kerry says the first catch he made against the Texans in preseason, and it took the team to tackle him. I was sold on Rico. I was too. Michael says you think Elliott's gonna get suspended. Boss Cowboy, we got a couple minutes, man. What are your thoughts, man?
Man, it's so tough. See, because, you want to be optimistic because you see Goodell doesn't treat other people like we're treated, right? Like you raised a good example on the Bennett brother who ran over the lady, had a felony on him, and then they let that go. But then that would make me want to have optimism, but then I look at how we're typically judged, even when technically we could have kind of got around it and we seem to still have a book thrown at us. Like even Terrence Williams, for his event, got 4 games. And you got the Giants kicker who confessed to actually beating his wife 20 times. He got 2. So if you look at
enforced by the team too, not even enforced by the NFL.
Yeah, and then after Zeke, Goodell tried to proactively reinforce a so-called suspension on him, and he was retired. So I want to be optimistic, but if I'm just being optimistic, I'm being optimistic out of evidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could just cross my fingers and hope, but my gut is saying that he's going to be suspended, and it's going to be at least 2 to 4 games.
Yeah, man. The thing that scares me with Zeke is this, man. Is like, the first sentence of his suspension cause that he took from last year. It says that he has to have no adverse involvement with the police department. With law enforcement. Adverse just means negative. You know what I'm saying? Anything that goes against the norm. You know what I'm saying? And that's anything that goes against the norm. So, it's kind of like, Zeke is almost kind of like on parole, where it's like, you're out and you're out of the suspension protocol. But if you do anything and it doesn't say legal, it says violation. If you do anything that violates the NFL policy, you You know what I'm saying? And it's very clear. It says NFL policy that it could lead to further suspension or even termination. So I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, you know, I know we have the people out there that be like, you know, oh, I'm not worried about it. You know, we need to stop worrying about it. You know, the same folks that watch our show. I mean, I'm okay with that. You know, but that's not a proactive way of how someone's gonna do your business. You're not gonna be like, oh, don't worry about it, because I guarantee this. I know that Zeke is not walking around here saying, oh, I'm not worried about it. I know he's not. You know what I'm saying? I know he's not. You know what I'm saying?
And people, I don't want people to get us wrong. Like, we not being Debbie Downers. We basically just kind of trying to read the tea leaves and get a probability based on what's out there. That's all it is. So I would say I'm right now around 20% that nothing happens. I'm around 80% that something happens.
Yeah, so, man, because it's like, bro, it's like, I mean.
So it's still hope. Like, you know how they said on that movie Dumb and Dumber, so you saying it's a chance? Yeah.
Because, I mean, my thing is this, man. My thing is this. Like, do you think if the NFL told Ezekiel Elliott he couldn't play football anymore in his for the NFL, do you think that I think that's basically that's almost the epitome of dying, I would think, right? For a football player, like, especially if his ability, that's almost the ability of, you know what I'm saying? Because he wants to play. You know what I'm saying? Especially since the first time that you got suspended, you felt that you were innocent. Well, my question is this. Would you let a kid just play with a gun even though it has a safety? No. You know what I'm saying? All right, because that's still pretty serious. Why? Because something can happen. And guess the thing about it is, if something does come from Zeke, it isn't no slap on the wrist. You know what I'm saying? It can easily go, because he's already had, the thing about it too, bro, is this. He's already had a physical conduct. Because domestic violence, that's physical. And he was suspended 6 games. So I know a lot of people were saying, you know, he might get 2 to 4 games. But I'm going to be honest with you, bro. How do you go from 6 games to 2? That's not usually how it works. You know what I'm saying? When you get in trouble and you go to jail the first time for a year, the second time you get caught, bro, you're going to jail for like 3 years. So, I mean, this is still under the NFL conduct. This isn't like, you know, David Irving, where 1 year he got suspended for PEDs, and then the next year he got suspended for WEED. It sounded like, but it's 2 different things. One is steroids, one is weed. That's why they were both 4 games. But to be honest with you, bro, this all falls under conduct.
No doubt. It's conduct.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I don't even think like a 2 to 4 game is optional, because it wasn't optional on the first suspension. If that's the case, why didn't he get 2 to 4 games on the first suspension?
Well, Kia Roberts actually recommended that he get none. And Kia Roberts was the only person that interviewed Tiffany Thompson. Like, all the people that made the decision on the first settlement of the 6 games didn't interview her at all. And I think you said it best the last time. People think it's over domestic violence.
Yeah.
No, they made a general judgment over conduct.
Yeah.
It was just conduct. And they mentioned in there the event at the St. Patrick's Day, when he tore down his friend's top.
Yep.
They mentioned that in conduct and respect of women, and then gave him a domestic violence sentence of 6 games.
Exactly. Let me get in these comments. My boy Tony says, if he balls in the offseason with a fair camp, he gonna make it. Bob Heck says, I don't really care. Truthfully, I like getting under y'all skin. LO Schultz ain't better. I'm gonna be honest. Let me tell y'all 2 things. One, we go live 2 times every day. So a lot of times when y'all give us negative, not even negative, where you guys give us a different opinion, what you guys do is you guys spur thoughts. This was a show that we got on here and we was like, yo, what we going to talk about? 2 subjects. So Bob Heck, I appreciate you for helping bringing us good subjects. But on the same token, I'm going to tell y'all also, as you mature as an audience listener, you should go from not trying to spur us and try to get us attention to actually bringing thought and information, because that's what scouting is about. It's not, we're just the mouthpieces who get to talk on the camera. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're all supposed to be, you know, bringing information in here. So my thing is we can all stand around and point at the problem, or we can jump in the ship and bring some solutions. So that's all I'm saying. You know, we all got to grow as audience listeners. You know what I'm saying? Michael says, all right, I got a question. What's our record this year? 12-4, 13-3, or what? What are your thoughts on this record real quick? Let's do some rapid fire real quick.
Yeah, man, I'll say 13-3 at best, maybe even 14-2 if we get super hot. I can actually see us doing that, really, like literally.
Yep.
Or at absolute worst, 11-5.
11-5. My thought, y'all saw my video. I said 13-3 question marks. I don't like progression. I don't like putting like losses on my team. I don't like doing that. You know what I'm saying? I got 3 question marks, 3 games that I think that can go either way. The Saints game is one. The New England game is the other one, and I can't remember the other one. I had to look it up, but I had 3 question marks. And the reason why is because they're on the road. Huh?
Yeah, the later it get harder because we on the road a lot. I think Chicago was where you put a question mark because it was cold.
Yeah, Chicago. Those were the 3. And to be honest with you, the Dallas Cowboys we have not statistically been good on the road. Like, and this is going to be one of them seasons where we can't be like we were last year on the road. Like, I think last year we were like, I think we split. I think we were even. Like, I think we were like fading, you know what I'm saying? But this year we can't do this. We can't be like that because, like, we have home game, away game, home game, away game, home game, away game. You get in a situation where you can't win on the road, bro, you're going to end up being 8-8. So we're going to have to figure out, can we win on the road quickly? Like, because we have no back-to-back home games. And to be honest with you, if you look over history, it's been those home games that have helped us out. You know what I'm saying? It's been those back-to-back home games that helped us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We was killing on the road.
But I mean, 2016, we got to get.
Last year, you're right. We was bad.
2016, that was a stat. That's a power stat. We were 6-1. No, 7-1 on the road. But look what the results were.
Yeah.
Look at the results were.
Yeah, I start thinking our road games are home games.
Exactly. Like, and to be honest, like that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, we can't go 4-4 on the road this year. Like, you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and especially where those games are at. You know what I'm saying? So home game, away game, home game, away game. Like, we gonna have to come out. So, you know, that's what
I remember correctly. I haven't looked at the schedule in a while. I think December was just crunch time for everybody. I think that's when we had the most road games.
I know, right? So yes, and those divisional games are going to be muy importante. I know a lot of us are sleeping on Washington, but y'all got to remember they was 5-2 when their quarterback went down.
Yeah,
for real. It was 5-2.
They better, especially their defense.
Yeah, like to keep it real, Philadelphia. Like, I'm sorry, Philadelphia, y'all don't scare me. Whatever. Like, y'all got to prove, like, the Philadelphia Eagles have never beat Ezekiel Elliott. Like, y'all have no stat like that. There's nobody that can say that about me or anything about my team. But, yo, the Philadelphia Eagles have never beat Ezekiel Elliott. Never. They've never beat him before. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have no problem with Philadelphia Eagles. I have no problem with them. Washington is built to stop Zeke. And I'm not saying I wish any ill will on anybody, but Reuben Foster going down, all I'm saying is you take your blessings where you get them. I hope you get better. But I'm just saying, bro, they limited him to 2.9 yards per carry last year. You haven't put Reuben Foster in there? Bruh.
Yeah, maybe one day we can just really break down our division. Like, really break down our division. Like, because I'm not and I've always respected our division. I don't really even New York. Like most people counted out Washington last year and they jumped out.
Yep.
Our division is the funniest, weirdest, craziest division in football. Like, we literally flip flop almost every other year. Every other team, like you can never be complacent. We don't have the fortune of New England. We don't have that to where we know we finna go in here and bang the Jets and bang Miami. This is gonna be like taking candy from none of, and we play with a lot of pride in that division. So
yeah,
I don't want to spend the whole show breaking down everybody down to the drafts, free agents, and everybody, and just go like matchup wise. That's good.
Nathan says we're the best road team. I'm not worried on the road. I gotta disagree with you, brother. I remember losing in Houston last year. I remember losing in LA last year. I remember losing,
We lost all the early.
We lost North Carolina on the road. Think about this.
The first Washington.
The first Washington.
Every game on the road at the first half of the season.
Yeah, I think the only road game we won last year was because we lost at Washington. We lost
Atlanta on the road.
Atlanta. Did we play Seattle in Seattle?
No. Yeah. No.
The first time we played Seattle in Seattle.
Yeah, we played in Seattle.
And we lost.
Yeah, I think we lost every game on the road the first half of the season.
Yeah, so and then think about this. The worst loss of 2017 was where? In Denver, on the road. the hardest game, the worst statistical game of Dak Prescott's career, his rookie season, in Minnesota, on the road. I know y'all don't remember that. Go all the way back.
That's okay. He still had 100 passing rating, but
Minnesota was flying, man. Any team that has good defense.
My boy Travis said Minnesota's his sleeper kind of pick too, because they are talented. They squadded up.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't do good last year, but they got a squad.
Who we talking about?
Minnesota, the Vikings.
Yeah, they got two wide receivers making $15 million apiece too.
Yeah, and they got Cook coming back.
And they just drafted the kid that I wanted too. And I interviewed his dad the other day. My boy Madison, man, Alexander Madison.
Madison, I forgot.
Yes, bro. I interviewed his dad. Hey, I interviewed his dad. Hey, shout out to my boy SK from the Vikings Report. And because, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, because you know Alexander Madison, his dad, like his church is right, like literally walking distance from my house, like right down the street from my house. So and my,
I think you reminded me of that because that was a pet of mine.
Yeah, my pops know him, so my pops said, my pops set it up for me. So I went down there and interviewed his dad, and bro, like I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I told him straight up, I think your boy's gonna be starting by the end of the season,
me too,
bro.
I think Madison go and it'll be good on the judgment of the people that's been in here because all of us, me and you and people on the thread, we was all on him. So if he blow up when most people in our community wasn't saying anything about it.
Yeah. So man, so let me get these last comments before we get up out of here. Shout out to El Jefe over there on YouTube. Shout out to South of Haven 88. He says DFL Preeps. What up with you, Michael Shane, El Jefe, Ram Tough. What I thought 11-5 for a while. Ram Tough. Okay. South of Haven says we got destroyed at the Coach. Yeah, we looked horrible against the Coach. Yeah, man, we did look horrible against the Coach, man. On the road, man. Like them road games is where we didn't. I mean, think about this. When we were in the preseason game against the 49ers, we didn't look good at the end of that game on the road.
Yeah, and I asked Charles a question about that because our offensive lineman consultant. Because my theory at first, before talking to him, that it was a breakdown with the communication on the offensive line because we was also getting a lot of sacks in the road. And I asked him about it. He said, "Nah, that really didn't have that much to do with it." You know what I mean? That there's still ways for them to be able to have better communication. But one day I want to also kind of rehash that because it's really see what was the trend of why the offensive line broke down. I really want to understand that on the road. And I'm not going to pretend to be the offensive line expert when I didn't play that in college. He did, But let me kick a shout out to a couple of people. I see my boy Nick, he's in another sports group and he's on. And I see my boy Paris. Chase said he balked. Let me see. And
the only away game that we won this year was Philly, I think, bro.
No, we won Philly in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, we won 2. We were so basically we were 2-6 on the road this year.
Yeah. Yeah, but way better second half. So before I don't want to. Because I want to also measure it by the trend of having Cooper. Because when we got Cooper, the trend of us losing on the road greatly improved. And more than likely, the games we lost on the first half, we would have won. Like the Panthers, because we really didn't have no outside threat, and that's really what killed us against the Panthers. 2 games I think we could have played over, and I think we would have actually had a better shot of winning. I think was definitely that North Carolina game because I like that game, and I think that Houston game. Seattle, I don't think so. Houston, bro, you're right. And Houston.
Houston, we should have won.
No,
freaking Xavier Wood comes up and makes a damn tackle.
We rocked them easy, bro. We come in hot if we had Cooper from the beginning, like no doubt. In Houston, man. Houston, I think we win that game. I mean, that game was won, bro. Won. We still should have won that game. Like conservative play caller killed that game too.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, we appreciate everybody that tuned in, man. Hey, you guys already know, we are known to have one of those aggressive comment boxes, so we appreciate everybody for getting in the comment box. Y'all know that it's all love, man. We just want to make sure the information gets out. You know what I'm talking about? Nobody want to sit on here and listen to bald head. Oh, I'm bald, going bald. He's still. Hey, they
bro, but God bless you.
I know. We gotta, man. I'm looking like LeBron James up here, man. LeBron James, man. But hey, man, you already know what it is, man. Hey, Boss Cowboy, let them know where you at, man. Let them know where they can find you at.
I want y'all to really go to my page, hit the like button, hit the follow button. That's where you'll be able to get all the articles that I come out with, because y'all get it first. And sometimes I get those articles, I sit them on there for a little while before I start releasing them to other groups. So I let the people that's on my page get the articles first. So go to that page, you get that. And I also want y'all to go to my website, which is www.bosscowboy.com. That's where you go get all the articles. We wrote about Dak on there. Obviously wrote about, the buy and hold, which dealt with the marijuana, which is starting to kind of come out now. But remember, we was early on that, real early on that. So I think if you kind of stay plugged into this show, I think it's going to give you one of the best chances to be the type of fan that's abreast of everything. And that's our goal. Is we, like he said, we want truth. We out to uncover truth. So, and it's not going to be filtered by the national media. It's not going to be filtered by ratings. My boy West Coast, he was positive on Witten. I was a little bit negative, but he had his real opinion, and I had mine. And that's what you go get every time. We disagreed a little bit with a couple of people on the show. That's what you go get, but we also agreed. So yeah, that's what I find.
Hey, man, I see y'all up in here talking about my hairline, man. I ain't tripping because I'm going to be 23 tomorrow. I don't care. I'm going to be 23 tomorrow, man. Watch. I bet I'll be 23 tomorrow. All y'all be saying, oh, look at West Coast, man. Look at West Coast, man. He went all back in time, and he didn't hit him with the Thanos clapping.
We used to do this to bars when they had that bald head. We used to do it like this.
Nope. Hey, man, but hey, we appreciate everybody that tuned in on YouTube. El Jefe, my boy Ram Tough, Eagle Allen, Dallas Cowboy 2020 Super Bowl. Let's go. I heard that 2019, bro. What the hell you mean? We're gonna skip. I'm trying to win it this year. Quest Cowboy, I appreciate you for tuning in. Everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and subscribing. Michael keeps Allen Jay Ajayi to Dallas. No, I'm cool. Yeah.
I think about it.
He always gonna think about it, but I'm cool.
Boise State,
man.
Vet.
I mean, maybe after I find out what the hell going on with Mike Weber, like you know what I mean?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's I would think about it. Like
I'm already one deep in the hole anyway, so
I would probably have a conference meeting where
I wasn't a big fan of Jay Ajayi. I don't like the way he runs, man. I wasn't a big fan of him.
And I dig that, man. Like I always go with your eyes. With my eyes, yes.
Yeah.
At least a thought. But I like our young guys.
Yeah, I'm cool on. I wasn't a big fan of.
Yeah, because those young guys, they excited, bro. Like you add another vet, it's gonna.
And I heard he was a diva. Like when I heard that he had a bad attitude, I was like, "Have you ever heard like an ugly girl who got a bad attitude?" You'd be like, "What? She got a bad attitude?"
What did you say? But they was leaking that from Miami.
But you get what I mean? You like, wait, time out. How are you conceding? Hell you mean?
Before we close out. My boy Kerry broke down the fact that I just kind of hold to in the back of my mind that whenever you hear these negative reports about players, 90% of the time it's come from the team that got an agenda. You know what I mean? So that was coming from Miami. Then he got to Philly, and he was considered a team guy. So we'll see. But no, after I think about it, I'm with you. I'm out. Go with my young guys.
Yeah, Philly. I'm not saying Philly didn't want him, but Philly was like, we're cool.
Bro, he was key.
Yeah, after they traded for him too. Like, how do you trade for a guy and not re-sign him? It didn't even cost you much to trade for him.
I think they got him for a 6th round.
Yeah, and then you had no intentions of re-signing him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, and then Philly, they some dirt bags anyway. So if Philly don't want you, I'm cool.
Bro.
I'm cool. You know what I'm saying?
I'm out.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm out. Like I'm going with my young guys.
Yeah, you talking about my ex is cute. Stop it. No, bro. It's not going to work out. It didn't work with me. It ain't going to work with you. All right, you already know what it is, man. But you know what I mean, bro. You get them dudes like.
I don't think they heard you, bro. No, I heard you.
You be looking at these dudes like, bro. All right, go ahead, man. Go on, try to make it work.
Headache.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Hey, you already know what it is, though. I'm West Coast, man. Please tune in tomorrow. We'll have something cracking in the morning around 10. Proud out to everybody that's on YouTube, too. Shout out to everybody that's the sponsors that's be keeping us on. Hey, we almost there, man. We almost there. Never look down because the stars up. Peace.